Hey guys, in today's video I would like to talk to you about the topic of how to stay healthy as an artist. This topic can apply to you whether you are a self-employed artist making a living off of your art or an artist who creates art as a hobby. During the video you will see a watercolor artwork emerging that I created for my patrons. All materials that I used to create this piece are listed down in the description. The beautiful music you can hear playing in the background is a new song from Amarante Music, Meet Me in the Woods. Links are in the description as well. As artists, I think that sometimes we focus so much on our art time that maybe we don't always pay as much attention to our health and our bodies, and I have been guilty of this as well. For a long time, I was not listening to my body or caring for my physical needs, though thankfully I moved past this habit in my own life. Real quick before we start, for more painting tutorials, head over to my Patreon page at patreon.com/Lioba and select the $5 or $10 reward tier. You will get instant access to a variety of different in-depth painting tutorials covering watercolor, oil and mixed media techniques. For $10 a month you get exclusive access to both my live stream and real-time painting videos. For $15 or more you get beautiful art surprises, fine art prints, original watercolor illustrations and much more. I sense that when we are trying to learn to take better care of ourselves, one of the best things we can do is to have the right mindset. For me, I often felt the most important thing I could focus on was trying to earn a living through my art. When I started sharing my art with people on social media about 3 years ago, I was only focused on how to make a living, and everything else seemed completely unimportant to me. Because I was so driven, I was neglecting my housework and my body, and I felt very stressed and unhappy all the time. Truly, I was unsatisfied about my quality of life overall. Even though I eventually found ways to make a living off my art, it still didn't change how I felt. Yes, maybe I felt a little bit better overall, but I didn't see major differences. I still found I was comparing myself to other artists who seemed to be more successful than me, and I kept wanting to elevate my game. When I began comparing myself to others, I realized that no matter how hard I worked or how much I focused on improving my artwork and my self-promotion, this feeling never really changed. Although I am still guilty of comparing myself to others at times, I thankfully began to realize that it was just a part of the career as an artist to run across more successful people out there. Things improved for me when I realized this would never change, even if I spent so much time on art that I neglected other areas of my life like my health or housework. Before I realized what I needed to do in order to feel healthier, my job, physical health and other issues made me very stressed and unhappy. Then one day, at a social media influencer event, I met people who were regularly exercising and playing sports. I realized that doing exercise can become a habit if repeated on a regular basis, and the only way to do it, unfortunately, is to learn to discipline oneself. Talking to these girls helped to encourage me to start exercising and to start taking care of my body. For me, the hardest parts were getting started and sticking with exercising regularly. Yet I can't recommend it more. I began taking my bicycle to the grocery shop or when I needed to go out to ship my art orders. It improved my life so very much. I started to realize that it was all about having a healthy mindset, and I came to understand that I have to focus on my own health and physical well-being as a priority. Thankfully, I'm already relatively slim and didn't have problems with my weight. However, I never felt fit or comfortable in my body at all. Though I recognized that being healthy was important, getting myself to exercise has always been hard, and I never really enjoyed it at all. I'm a really comfy person who likes to sit on the couch, and I'm very distracted by things like Instagram when I'm settled in. And I'm also very clumsy and have no balance whatsoever, so any exercise movements tend to be super hard for me. Some people are talented at dancing or sports, but I'm just not. So sports were always horrible for me. When I was truly ready to commit to exercising, I thankfully found ways to exercise that were right for me. Luckily, I found a very cheap website that offered exercises for every level of fitness, from beginners all the way to expert athletes, with warm-ups and cooldowns, all for a one-time fee of $10. They even had exercises for clumsy people who can't really move their body parts, which worked so well for me. The site is called Fitness Blender, and though I am not affiliated with them in any way, I really appreciate what they offer on their site. And I will leave a link for you in the description. They offer videos you can follow from home, and it's perfect. I can do it when I have time and I'm ready to exercise, which is really super helpful. After working with a free program for a month, for which I will leave a link for you in the description, I learned the basic movements and I could move on from there to try their other videos too. The other important step I needed to take was to get myself to get up and get going on exercising day by day. Of course, this can be super difficult, but in the videos they offer tips and motivations that make you want to move through them. That is one part of how I started to regularly exercise. Another thing that opened my eyes about exercising happened when my boyfriend started to do exercises too. He decided to do a workout while I decided to do some video editing work instead. As he kept going, I realized that the half an hour or 40 minutes that he kept exercising ended so quickly that I barely got anything done and he was already finished. I realized that I only got a little bit of work done in the time it took him to get a full workout in. I wouldn't have missed out on getting much done if I would have just stuck with exercising, and I would have felt so much better afterwards too. It was then that I realized that if I planned time for exercising, I still had so much time left in the day to use on other things. Truly, half an hour or 40 minutes worth of time wouldn't take away too much time from my other work that it would hurt anything. After I did the exercises on the site a few times, I started to feel a lot better and I learned a lot of things. Before trying this site, I always felt uncomfortable when I used to exercise because I had an image in my mind of what my body should look like. Following the videos helped me to realize that even the women on the exercise videos didn't have the ideal figure I was hoping to have myself. Yet, even though each of them had a different build structure and did not have a perfect model-like figure, they still each looked beautiful. This helped me realize that if I just worked on my body, I too would look and feel good if I put effort into being healthy. When I let go of this unnatural expectation, it helped me to release so much of the stress and pressure I felt for years about exercising. It also helps a lot to have someone to work out with who can help you to see if you are making the right postures and movements. It can be very difficult to see if you're doing the right things when you are exercising alone. Lucky for me, my boyfriend knows how to get the moves right, so asking a friend for help is really important and can be very beneficial. So basically, it helps to be sure to set aside time to exercise and to realize that it is time well spent. It also helps to realize that when we exercise, we are doing something good for our bodies, even if we don't feel we are at the perfect size and shape. Finally, as an added perk, it feels good to exercise because then some of the guilt is gone. I don't feel as self-critical when I eat cake or something delicious anymore if I know I have exercised. Not having to think too hard about the food I eat allows me to spend more time focusing on art. And this is something that really changed my life, and I just feel so much better not thinking about food anymore. So this is one part that makes me feel so much healthier now. The next point on my list in order to become more healthy is getting enough sleep. As artists, it's super important to get plenty of sleep. I know that I cannot work when I am sleep deprived. It's impossible for me. I prefer to get 8 to 9 hours of sleep every day, and I need to get to bed around 11 or midnight, otherwise I will just die. When I was younger, it was no problem to stay up late, but now it is just not possible anymore. Now, when I go to sleep in the middle of the night around 2 or 3 a.m., my face is literally green and yellow from lack of sleep when I wake up. My body just can't handle it and it needs sleep, and I just started to accept this fact about myself. If you are maybe maybe young and haven't trained yourself to get used to a routine, you might still be sleeping at different times or staying up all night long, and this can be bad for you. It can be good to form specific sleeping and eating patterns so your body gets used to knowing what to expect. When I find patterns that work for me, I feel healthier and have less physical problems. It is good to come to know what works best for us as individuals. Of course, it is also all a matter of balance. Let's say it's getting late and I still wanted to get a video finished. In those moments, I need to prioritize what is most important to me. Maybe I might just set the work aside and get sleep instead, and then plan to work on things again another day. Most of the time, I try to decide in the moment which choices are healthiest for me when I get into those situations. If you know that certain patterns and routines are best for you, it is good and healthy to stick with them too. I'm always reminding myself that although my job is important, my health is more important. It is almost like having a pet and knowing the needs of that pet and making sure that they get what they need. If this means taking them for a walk, then I would make sure to do that for them. It's just as important to prioritize ways to make sure we feel healthy, even though finding that balance is difficult. If we find that we are feeling very stressed and frustrated, then maybe our priorities aren't balanced out very well, and we might have to think about what we could do different, whether it is exercising or relaxing or doing something good for ourselves. I know it's easy to say all of this, but it really is so important. My boyfriend has a lot to do with helping me balance a healthy lifestyle. He helps me to remember to exercise and to make lunch together and to do certain things to make sure I'm doing what is best for our well-being and our relationship. If you don't have time for your art because of your job or children or other responsibilities, it's maybe a good idea to plan art time. It might be also good to recognize that if art time is not possible, we don't have to sacrifice the other things that might be more important. Sometimes it takes sitting down and planning out our days. That helps us to see what is most important to us and picking and choosing the things that matters most so that we can balance things out. Everyone has a different life situation, and so of course I can only speak for myself and the ideas that I have. Truly what matters is different for everyone. Another thing that is important to reduce stress is to avoid being nasty to people around you. If you feel that you are irritated because you are stressed, try to find what is causing you that stress and work to reduce it. For me, managing stress means being organized, having a plan and thinking ahead. I try to remind myself of the important things in life and make sure that I am incorporating as much of the good stuff into every day as I can do so that I feel healthy, well balanced and cared for. I know this was a pretty long video, but after having worked on health and self-care as an artist for years now, I might have some things to share that might help some of you. I hope this video was helpful for you. If you have learned other things about staying healthy as an artist that you wanted to share in the comments below, I would love to hear about them. If you liked the video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. And I see you in the next one. Bye!